Welcome back, pilots. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the corkscrew maneuver and when to employ it, what it's used for, in what situations. So this fight in particular was probably one of the most fun fights I've had in a while against a team of pilots in a Hurricane that have been doing really well. I had fought this guy a few times with the Gladius and ballistic loadouts, but unfortunately was not able to kill him since I kept running out of ammo. So in this particular fight I pulled out the arrow, and we'll see here proper use of the corkscrew maneuver, nice and tight. We're still going to take a bit of hits every once in a while, but the idea is you're not taking anywhere close to the amount of hits that you're going to be dishing out to the opponent, right? And so we see here, there's the kill against the Hurricane. Props to those guys. They fought so goddamn well. Had such a great time. They actually ended up getting my Gladius, so I did end up paying them 1,000,000 credits because they did really well. And but I want to take this opportunity to kind of break down why the corkscrew worked here and why we used it. So I want to start off with a video, or a picture, sorry, of exactly what you should see from the arrow's perspective in this fight. Okay, the arrows are indicating the arrows on the arrow are indicating the direction of strafe direction that's being applied. So notice I have very strong up strafe being applied at the beginning. I'll then rotate 90 degrees as I pass the nose and start pushing on my bottom thrusters as I create that corkscrew-like motion. The trick to this is it's a continuous, never-ending rotation with the application of up strafe. And depending on what he's doing, and depending on what his counter maneuvering is doing as well, you might have to either increase your roll or rotate the other way. But it's not so simple as just doing rolls in space. The trick with this maneuver is understanding the direction that the enemy target is flying in and creating a pattern that's orbiting the flight path of the target you're engaging. So in this picture we have the Hurricane under full back strafe, flying relatively static. And we see the arrow rotating around the flight path. Okay, so in the center of your maneuver should be the flight path of the enemy fighter, including at the end of it, obviously, the enemy fighter. But this right here is the most imperative aspect about this maneuver that most people don't understand. It's not just about rolling in space. You have to roll around your target, more specifically around the flight path of the target. Okay, so now here comes the tricky part. From the Hurricane's perspective, this is what he should see if he's being attacked by somebody that's executing this maneuver properly, right? We'll notice at 1,000 meters, we start with a small circle. We close our distance until we get right up close onto the enemy, right? Now, I indicated with the lead pips what he should see. Now, if you're in the turret of the Hurricane and you shoot directly at that pip on my arrow here, with the gimbal zone we currently have, the accuracy is ludicrously high. So how do we get away from that? Well, what we do is we do that roll, and what's causing the roll to shake off damage is if you, as the Hurricane pilot, don't either match my roll or account for the, I guess you could say, added inaccuracy of the pip, you're not going to hit this arrow. What needs to happen is, as I'm rolling into that turn, I think you can all look at this arrow picture here and assume what direction and what movement this arrow is going to do. He's obviously going to go down into the left and make another circle as he continues this moment, like this momentum. Unless the Hurricane slows down, then it turns into a rate fight where you can get dominant position, which I'll show you in the next picture. But in this situation, if you don't account for the roll that the enemy pilot is doing in this case, then you're going to have trouble hitting that attacking ship. So when you're faced with somebody that's corkscrewing against you, you need to adjust in the direction that they're rolling preemptively and predict where the shot's going to be, and then the gimbal assist will help adjust for that last little bit. But if you just go strictly based off the pip and you don't counter maneuver against what he is doing, then you're going to have inaccurate pips. And that's true for lag pips, lead pips, everything. And that's simply not something that can be patched away. These are fundamental gunnery skills that everyone needs to understand. Okay, so let's say you did the impossible. You closed distance on a Hurricane. You corkscrewed your way in without taking too much damage. And you want to get position on him where you can make the kill? Well, the best position on a Hurricane is underneath, since the turret can no longer apply damage to you, and you're underneath the ship's turn rate, which is around, I think it's like 30 or 40 right now in 314, but at the end of the day, light fighters will turn faster than heavies. So you want to get close. You want to get within that kill zone, that kill slot of 200 to 300 meters, and you want to sit underneath that Hurricane. Now, if the Hurricane rotates, you're gonna try to make a dash to the other side. That's why you want to keep your circles nice and tight, stay nice and close, because the more he rotates to try to get guns on you, the more you can try to fight for that slot. And the entire time he's doing that, you're applying damage. If you can execute on this maneuver here, you can take out Hurricanes. The other option is to stay far, far away at range and do a continuous corkscrew and just apply damage over time until eventually you can take it down. But I like taking the more aggressive approach. I like getting right in there and finishing the kill. And in order to do that, you need to get close, you need to be aggressive, and you need to commit. So let's watch the fight again, now maybe with new eyes, and watch very closely as to what maneuver or when the maneuver is being executed, and see if you can tell what's actually going on here, right? So we are using a ballistic arrow because we need that extra damage. We need something to deal with this Hurricane, because Hurricanes right now are absolutely terrifying, right? So again, we're closing that distance with that corkscrew. Look at the lasers that he's firing, right? Those kind of indicate his flight path. We're getting nice close within 300 meters. We're still continuing to corkscrew onto target in that nice easy roll. Shots sometimes are hitting, but mostly it's going away. And if you look at his flight path, we're just kind of orbiting his flight path a little bit. Now here we go, looking for the dominant position, trying to get underneath, making it very difficult for his gunner to get me, and splash. There it is. There's the kill against the Hurricane. The impossible does happen, folks, but there you go. I hope this video was educational. I hope you have a better understanding as to what I'm talking about when I talk about corkscrews and whatnot. And you can visit us anytime on the Discord or on stream. I'd like to see all you folks out. Make sure to like and subscribe and share, folks. And I will see all of you in the next video.